Good evening, ladies and gents, all the attendees. I'm thrilled to welcome you to tonight's Pranks, Project Management Sharing Knowledge. And let me express my gratitude to all of you guys that taking the time out of your Saturday night to join us. Tonight, we are not just going to talk about project management, but about innovation management using holistic thinking. We'll be hearing insights from the originator of the holistic thinking investor, Dr. Casey Chan, especially on the understanding the imperative of holistic thinking in modern project management, about how to learn the essence of innovation management, and lastly, is about how to apply the holistic thinking for innovation management to beat the competition. You can grab your coffee, get comfortable, and meanwhile, I will read to you guys the short bio of our esteemed speaker tonight. Distinguished Professor Chan Kachi, founder of Wholistic Institute of Lifelong Learning, WIL, in short. With 30 years of international C-suites experiences in organizational development from strategic project management, computer integrated manufacturing to service industries. He is an international certified senior management consultant, an expert in the team of consults with Project & Co., and also Stanford certified corporate trainer in project management. He is also an author, academic, action learning expert, and supervisor for scholars, as well as the investor of PBAAL and Holistic Thinking. He currently also visiting professor for Murdoch University, Pradita University, and Petra Christian University. While being an academic fellow of International Council of Management Consulting Institute and senior research fellow of Research Center of Technological Innovation, Tsinghua University, he is also trusted as an advisor and executive coach for Supreme Strategy Execution. Now, good night, Dr. Casey. How are you today?
I'm fine. So, selamat malam.
Selamat malam.
Apa kabar?
Kabar baik.
Ya, baik
Kabar
tadi.
hujan, Prof, di sana?
Yes.
It's raining out there?
No, it has stopped because of this seminar. So
Okay, that's great. That's great.
No noise to disturb us.
All right. Okay, now before we go, one last slide from me. It's about the rules. Our participants will be on mute and videos turned off. If you have questions, don't hesitate to put it on the chat box. E-certificates will be distributed to all participants who join the session. And for the PMI Indonesia chapter members, PDU is auto-submitted. The session will be recorded and you can rewatch it on our YouTube channel. And lastly, happy learning and please give us feedback. Without further ado, Professor, let's get started. The screen is yours.
Thank you. So I put that on share and then we are ready to go. So welcome everyone. Please pardon my Singlish because as I said, I studied in many places in different parts of the world. So it's like gado-gado, rojak, you know. So therefore, when I speak, but one thing for sure, when I wear this batik on the plane or on the ground, people will ask me, are you Indonesian? I say, I wish I am. Okay, so with that, I will start. So what is holistic thinking? My first slide will explain in a nutshell. Then what is innovation management? Although innovation has been for 50 years, in actual fact, hundreds of years, if you go back to when China invented the gunpowder. But now the latest is the ISO standard 56,000, which has been released in October 2024 last year. So let me just update everyone about the importance of this holistic thinking applied to innovation management. So some 25 years ago, I realized that actually the PMBOK, whether it is the 4th edition, 5th edition, or 6th edition, they actually, when you talk about holistic thinking, that's how I always teach my students, is the 5 process groups, 10 knowledge areas, and when you count the number of processes, 6th edition say 49 processes. So that's called holistic thinking. But how about systems thinking? So we have a very important process group called Perform Integrated Change Control. So therefore, you have 12 processes because there are critical areas that we need to change, which leads to the third dimension of thinking, critical thinking. So how do we pass our PMP exam? MCQ, right? 200 questions during my time, now 180. A, B, C, D, last time was A, B, C, D, E, even more. Choose one. The most appropriate answer. Sometimes the right answer is you think logical, but it doesn't answer the question. So in critical thinking, we have to set criteria. In project management, we call this acceptance criteria, of course, on scope, on cost, and on schedule. Now, lateral thinking. What happens if we do not listen to other people? We just go ahead and do it. If we don't upset the key stakeholders, it's fine. But if the key stakeholders are influencer, remember the stakeholder matrix diagram, and also has interest to make sure this project is successful, then positive stakeholders will make it successful. Negative stakeholders will use this opportunity to shelve the project. Now, how about innovation? So there's my co-writer in Tsinghua University by the name of Professor Chen Jin. So he has written the most influential article which put him at Thinkers 50 worldwide. That means he stands among Michael Porter, Warren Bennis, and all the top people which are called the Thinkers 50 in the world. So he identified 4 very important innovation, of course, apart from Clayton Christensen, which also is his group of friends. And of course, we also have the disciple of Clayton Christensen. So he says that we have to look far ahead. So strategic, we all know 10 years and beyond. So total portfolio, program, project, are these aligned? Or we say that in some management books, they say box 1, manage the current projects. Box 2, selectively drop some of the projects that are not making money or already outdated. Box 3, create for the future. So in Singapore, our box 3 is the Terminal 5, which will be, I think, we are talking about 2030, some part will be operational. So collaborative, Singapore small country. When it comes to projects, we have to invite our neighboring countries, ASEAN, in particular Indonesia, to come and help, both manpower, equipment, knowledge, etc. A lot of IT specialists come from Indonesia, if those of you who have been working in Singapore for some time. So collaborative. But open innovation means that we cannot close door. This is exactly what Microsoft is doing. Give me a good idea, send me the software, I test it, can be integrated with my system, why not? Now, management, we also, I think most of you have MBA, then you do a PMP. Some of you are reversed, you do a PMP first, then you do the MBA. Everything starts with a strategy. Strategy is the direction, is the roadmap. So we need to choose the right people, train them to implement the right process, like in project management, make sure that they are knowledgeable, make sure they have the skills, and then the planet is the Internet of Things. So to put this together, holistic thinking and innovation, I've created the house of holistic thinking innovation management. So that is very easy for you to capture because a picture is worth 1,000 words. Now, in project management, we have been, since the days of the late Steve Jobs, he actually projectized the organization structure. So we can spend more time there. And then he spend less time on the formal organization structure, which is heavy duty. Draws a lot of his time, but he rather spend more time with the projectized structure because it's to create new products and services. For generic reason, I call this Office of Strategy Innovation Management. It's not strategic management. Strategy means that this is an innovation strategy. Therefore, we translate this strategy into projects. So you may call this the PMO. Now, when the organization matured from running small projects to mid-sized projects, depend on your definition of small, maybe up to $1 million, mid-size up to 10 million, heavyweight projects or turnkey projects, 10 million and above. So we cannot mature overnight. So high performance innovation culture means it may take us 2 years. Or when I was in Indonesia, it took me 3 years to actually introduce project management into a conglomerate. I worked there 8 years, but first 2 years, actually I have to show. Then after the people agreed, we start to train the senior management first, the middle and the junior management, so they become the enabler. It becomes a common language for non-routine work. And finally, it becomes a driver for that organization, which was really not making a lot of money, to now is the second largest palm oil industry in the world. I think you know roughly which organization I'm talking about, PT Smart. So therefore, what I've learned from theory to practice is that management, leadership, and entrepreneurship is actually built into a project. So therefore, it's easier to convince people. It's easier to select people for promotion because you have done a heavyweight project, very tough across borders, but yet it's successful. So this is the sum of management, leadership, and entrepreneurship. When you unify together, this is what the new term I define as innopreneurship with Professor Chen Jing. So this was already presented in China, in Zhejiang University, and also the international conference held in December. And now the ending part is that everyone needs to have a strategy, individual, project team, and organization. So the future is about the strategy must be shared throughout the key people in the organization so that you think in one direction called strategy preneurship. So innovation can be both an art, which means that the way you convince people, soft skills, or hard skills, AI. Everyone must use AI. So therefore, you remove the manual part of innovation. So this is very, very important. Now, the next slide is talk about learning. So we also have that in our PMBOK, lessons learned. But again, I structured this because I was teaching starting from UI, University of Indonesia, in year 2001 until I returned to Singapore 2006, so 5 years. But I did not stop going to Indonesia because I have many good friends. Professor Eko Indrajit, so he invited me to become the visiting professor at first with Perbanas and now with Pratida. But for Petra Christian University, I was teaching there since 2002. So that's the reason why I created this so that learning can be structured. And this is called project-based accelerated action learning because I really love projects. Those projects, as I mentioned, will build up, enhance your leadership skills, your management skills, as well as your entrepreneurship skills, because although it is not my company, but I treat it as my own because I'm given a dollar value to deliver. Now, all this must be captured in what I call here program knowledge. I read the PMBOK, I passed the exam, good, because I'm able to integrate my knowledge. Answer 200 questions, I score above 70% those days, you consider as pass. So I'm able to integrate things together, people, process, and the planet. Questioning insight. So is this the best way? No, there's always a better way. So we have to innovate, like what the late Steve Jobs said, create, innovate, destroy, create again. This is what I have mentioned just now, box 2 solution. Some projects we have to let go because we are no longer competitive. Like Nokia have let go the conventional phone and then move on to the iPhone, but they did not. So we need to continue to innovate. And today is very important. A small country like Singapore, we have nothing but human capital. So everyone has to improve not just the product, but also the services. So in the very simple definition of innovation now is by doing something different that has business impact. So in this way, the implementation of innovation becomes across the whole organization, including operations, including anybody, any stakeholder can make the project successful or less successful. Now, reflection is that we need to invite people to feedback. So this is where they actually share where it went right and when it went wrong, and then we start all over again. And this is captured as a better way for lessons learned. Otherwise, yeah, I know it's called lessons learned when I studied the pinball, but then it's not structured. Now, in summary, this is how I will look at the 4 types of thinking skills, which actually the most important is we think alike, not the same, but alike, so that we can move at the same pace, same speed. Strategy translate into project. Structure, we cannot change the former structure, so we use projectile structure. And this is why I designated it as OSIM, Office of Strategy, Innovation Management. Those projects not innovative should not draw the attention of the senior management. Culture of performance. This is culture of innovation to help us to perform. So now this gives birth to the productivity of 6 M's. First one, no money, no project. You need to get the financial resources, manpower, machines, materials, methods, and last but not least, management of time, which is minutes. Now come to what I discovered from my doctorate students. This is, now I have 5 doctorate students doing their projects. They realized that this model called strategize, implement, and operate. And of course, we have to measure comparing what is the output, operate to the strategy. There are actually 5 gaps. Why? In project management, we also know we call this organizational project management because the portfolio, the program, and the project, the objectives may not be fully aligned. So once you have a strategy gap, it will become the hindrance to the execution gap because people start to become confused. My boss said do this, but your boss said do the other way. Which is the way? So call the meeting. So project management will be ideal when we have facilitation. So I always reminded my students, you pass a PMP is an individual, Superman, but you need to become a super team. Super team, one of the team members must be a facilitator. The more so if you are in agile project management. So now, growth gaps, we all want to achieve our targets, but how come we miss our target? So now you look at the learning gaps. Is it our people, lack of certain skills, or is it the process, we use the wrong process? Other people already use AI, automation, we are still using the old method. Or is it our Internet of Things, we are using an old system. So we have to upgrade our technology to the new system. 4G to 5G to now somebody said 6G already. Or in China, I don't know, because all these are written in Chinese. No? So innovation gaps is how fast you want to innovate. No company has unlimited resources, so we have to innovate at the right time. So this goes to critical thinking for conviction. Decision making cannot make the U-turn unless it is absolutely essential. So what is innovation? Why innovation is important? How do we manage innovation? Who are the people we should become the key change agents for holistic thinking for innovation management? When we can reach the maturity of our capability, where are the pitfalls, the risks, and how much it costs us? Is it one arm and one leg, or actually the benefits is more than the cost of development? Now, these 6 thinking hats recently, I used this many years because since 1994, I was working for a multinational enterprise and we have to attend these 6 thinking hats from Albert de Bono. And this is used profusely because the white hat is the accountant, the engineers. They think in a certain way. The red hat is always the boss, emotional, but hopefully intelligent, not unintelligent. Everything just do it, like he said. Red hats are the risk specialists. Be prudent. Look at the whole normal curve from minimum risk to maximum risk. Are we going to take the average? Opportunists, sales and marketing people. Now, of course, the creative and innovative people can come up with many products, but can we sell the product? So we still have to go back to the yellow hat, the sales and marketing people. Well, the project manager, helicopter view, insight, visionary, convert strategy at the corporate level to programs at the business level to actual projects at the operations level. So therefore, we need to have all these 4 thinking processes in order we can work well. So I created this house of holistic thinking for innovation management. So we must lay very strong foundation because every one of us think in a certain way. What we want is that we think in a structured way, not to kill creativity, but actually to bring out the essence of creativity is only an idea. Innovation is to put value into the idea, and entrepreneurship is to make sure this idea become a reality. That means whatever we spend money, we get back what we have invested. So this is the 4 layers. From consensus, we move to connecting the dots, which is clarity in planning, to controlling the dots, DOTS, not DOGS. So DOTS. So we have to connect and disconnect, and this is where critical thinking is just a final pattern emerge. This is called Eureka. We make decision, we put the money there, like our Terminal 5. Singapore spent $100 billion, not million, billion, not one time, over a period of time, 10 years, because this airport will be the assembler for the whole world to look at how a modern airport should be or could be. So this is where we say strategic, more than 10 years. Of course, get back the money maybe 20 years later. Total innovation, is it from the highest level, top management, middle management, and junior management, all agreed to move together at the same street. Collaborative, we cannot do everything, we outsource. Those we can do, because of confidentiality, we do. Those we cannot do better, we outsource to other partners, contractors, or even countries. Open innovation, this is what we say, you can learn from everybody. I learned a lot when I was in Indonesia because the Indonesian culture is very rich. Surabaya culture is different from Jakarta. Jakarta is different from Medan. But what I need is to run a team because I have 80 project managers reporting to me. How do I run this team? So I have to, based on the box 1, box 2, or box 3. So in this case, I can integrate the right people with the right process for implementation, and I have to influence them, always tell them and motivate them is the journey is long, it's difficult, but we can do it. So now the innovation actually comes from the operations people. And we have to improve together, but is there a metric? Last time, honestly, up to you. Now we can use the international standard, just like your ISO 9000. It's not 100% we have to endorse, but at least the components are correct because they have been arguing for the last 4 years. And they finally released October last year. So how can we improve using a metrics to measure innovation? Now, this is the one I have been applying for the last, I should say, since 2004, 20 years. 20 years. So this is not a new model. This is actually applied in PD Smart. And also Intragate. Not so much of Cinema's Land or the bank, but for these 2 are the main component. You have a strategy, correct, but I need to modify my former structure, which is, if you believe or not, 12 layers of management. To reach the C-suite is very tough in the Cinemas group. But if that is the case, then we cannot do projects. So we put them into 5 regions in Indonesia, 5 PMOs. After PMOs become portfolio, that's in Jakarta office. So everybody will have to deliver at the bottom. What have they learned? What they learned in East Sumatra is different from West Sumatra. It's also different from Kalimantan, etc., or even Manado, because they have different types of plantations, but still it's palm oil. So therefore, we have to collect all this. I'm looking at the bottom of the house, project-based accelerated action learning. So over time, the culture become very rich because why? We don't focus on people. People will discipline themselves. We focus on process, our ability to become faster, better. And of course, in Indonesia, those days was cheaper, but now it's not cheaper, it's smarter because we use AI. Now the speed is, I was very surprised when I start working in 1998 in Jakarta. The plantations already use GPS. And of course, it's very expensive, but no choice because it's palm oil plantation. We have to cut the land. Trees the same, Asia pulp and paper to grow the trees. So therefore, we have to integrate all the different areas of Indonesia together. We have to implement based on our budget because we have no unlimited budget, and therefore we have to influence the people at the operations level that they actually know the job best. These are the project managers. So we give them training, we motivate them, we give them incentives so they innovate. And now the whole company from the bottom up, top down is decision, bottom up is results. So we can improve continuously. And this is what we measure. Now it's easier because of ISO 36000. What is defined as supreme execution capability? I give one example. The palm oil plantation in Malaysia, you're talking about per ton of CPO, $250. In Indonesia, $150. So that's why they become number 2. So the very smart Malaysian company called Wilmar, they invest in Indonesia, they overtook PT Smart, become number 1 because the technology is not just the hardware, it's the software, the people that are going to say Indonesia must be the biggest palm oil plantation in the world. And later on, of course, you just to round out everything, the strategy is to invest in Africa continent, not South Africa, but North Africa. Okay, so all these are very important. And therefore, any organization must be realistic and says that, yes, like myself, I was forced to study. I'm already 70 years old in May. So government said, Casey, if you want to do auditing for ISO 56000, you have to pass the test. Although you are a senior consultant, I said, can I accept? I said, no. To pass the test is very tough. Okay, no problem. So I was resistant. But then I found a very good coach and mentor from USA, Professor Ramesh. And he's the expert. He said, don't worry, Casey, I will help you because I always visit China and Singapore. So whenever I'm there, I coach you. So I said, he is my enabler. So, but what is very important is that what I learned from my experience, that management of systems, leadership is to develop pipeline of talented people. Entrepreneurship is the fighting spirit, the willpower to help the company to earn more money or save more money is part and parcel of the same thing. Must move like a train of gears. And entrepreneurship is to all the three together and slowly from not so mature capability to now full capability, as I mentioned, in the palm oil plantation. The cheapest and the highest quality in the world is no longer Malaysia, it's Indonesia. So now they duplicate that to Africa because in future, you cannot ship from Indonesia to Africa, it's too expensive. So you may as well create jobs, create the environment, sustain the environment in that part of the world. Now, this is entrepreneurship because what happened if they have to send hundreds of Indonesians to Africa to work because the people don't know how to plant the palm trees, don't know how to take care of from the nursery all the way to maturity, 5 years. Most palm trees, then you can bear the fruits and you can do extraction. So become the driver. Now, craftsmanship, the means connotation of innovation is that how do I make my product looks beautiful, looks attractive? So you look at the palm, the cooking oil, you look at the packaging. So all these are part of innovation as well. So that's why innovation covers both product and services. Now, the 5 gaps, how do we arrive at that? Because over time, when we try to understand how come we can never achieve what we plan, so we realize that it's about communications between each level of management, because you have the strategic, you have the business strategy, you have the operation strategy. Of course, strategy we call corporate strategy. But if this is not properly aligned and they are linked together, you will achieve execution gap. You end up as execution gap because people do in different direction. So there are tools and techniques to help us. So therefore, one way is that you have 2 very important columns. Like if you want to have a very heavy duty bridge, your column must be very strong. So you need to start develop as many talented project managers as possible. I think Mr. Ika, one of your management team, recently who published a paper on project maturity model, he was there. And actually he introduced me about PMP. At first I don't want to study, but I said, you're the boss. You must know what is project management, not just the theory. I said, okay, I'm going to study. Oh, so I must thank him. Since 2004, I got my PMP. I've been teaching until today. And this is very important. Office of Strategy Innovation Management must speak the same language, common language. So now you need another column. We cannot overnight develop innovative talent because these are key change agents. Talent are people who influence other people to change. And culture is about the way we work. So the way we work is also over time, you change from a not so supportive culture to a high performance culture. Now, when you narrow down the strategy gap and the execution gap, your growth gap will be closer. You will achieve what you want, but the learning must be shared. What happened? The learning is Team A refused to share with Team B. Collectively, the company says that everything is in bits and pieces. How can we have a learning organization? So this is where you use a balanced scorecard to say that when we grow the company and when we want to come up with a new strategy, what is our innovation strategy? So innovation is also a strategy because it's about change. So therefore, when you look at these 5 gaps, now I develop it into canvas. So you have a strategy canvas, execution canvas, growth canvas, learning canvas, innovation canvas. Of course, the next one is the balanced scorecard, which is the ISO 56000. Now, this is the maturity model, which is different from project management maturity model. This is for innovation. At first, we don't have any metrics or scorecard. This is level 1. Level 2, we have scorecards for R&D only. Level 3, we have metrics that link innovation targets for individuals. So this is not new. This was done in the cinemas group since 2004. 2 years I implement, I come back 2006 to Singapore. So these metrics are tied to your incentives, rewards, and recognition. So we call this the Olympic Club. Olympic means that you are above and beyond the normal standard of performance. Now we also need to have manager competition, manager conferences. All the key projects will be analyzed. Maybe there are 100, but the top 10 will be presented in the manager conference every year. 300 managers grouped together with the owners of the companies they present. So that means from the top management all the way to the operations, the culture is built and is bounded together. So regular performance evaluation, reward and recognition is all from the Office of Strategy Innovation Management. And now of course, you can start to perform according to what we say. You have narrowed down the performance gap. Now, let's ask the question so that easy for us to understand. Yes, you talk so much about holistic thinking for innovation management, but what is, in one word, this is called innopreneurship. So what's the process? The process is that innopreneurship must become a culture, just like TQM. Quality is everyone's business, because if the quality is no good, just like the Boeing 737, the whole company suffer. So it's called reputation risk. So therefore, everyone must play a role. Why? Because to influence, we need to cultivate a pipeline of innovation change agents. All project managers are actually change agents. But now one step further, change is about improvement. So a project manager always talk about improvement. So improvement is a Six Sigma project, Lean Six Sigma. So why don't we put all these concepts together and call this innovation? So earlier on, I already talked about house of holistic thinking for innovation management, so they can cultivate innovatorship for supreme, the final measurement. You do it in 200 days, I do it in 100 days, but the quality is better. Holistic thinking, not one person change the way we think, but the whole organization change the way we think first, then the way we work. That means is project work, behave, agile mindset, perform is innovation culture. Now, all lessons learned are captured to become a truly learning organization. So this is called project-based accelerated action learning. And all these are captured. So the PMO, like in the past, is also part of the Office of Strategy Innovation Management, because my department is called Innovation and Organizational Development. But later on, the boss wants it a better name, Office of Innovation and Productivity. Yeah, so because productivity is the end game. Now, who are the people? The innovation change agents we need to develop. So therefore, from strategic level, you have to bring these people together, strategic level, business level, and project. And all of them are discussing using lateral thinking. How can we align the strategy into operational objectives, project objectives? Now, the maturity capability, we can seal the 5 gaps, provided conscientiously we are aware what can go right and what can go wrong. So this is a very difficult part, which is critical thinking. And now, where are the challenges, complexities, conundrums of changes? This is when you combine the 3 things together: holistic thinking, innovation management house, the Office of Strategy Innovation Management, and all the learning that you gather. So now you can influence people. Team A took 100 days. Team B took 120 days. Team C, even worse, 180 days. So use Team A members to train Team B as well as Team C. In this case, if they are able to improve, because the Team A is a better team, but not stay within the team, but they actually goes to join the other team. If the whole organization now, the productivity is not only 100, 150, 180, but 120 days, all the same, A, B, C projects, then the benefits is enormous. And that is how you will realize that holistic thinking for innovation management actually bring up the essence of innopreneurship. So now, this is what I presented in the Malang. So before we all study PMP, intellectual capital, we are emotionally intelligent project manager, emotional capital, because we study EQ of Daniel Goleman. We know what to do when we get angry. Stay cool. We know how to control stress. Social capital, you need presentation skills. You need to be able to influence people. So this is the leadership brand as an individual. Oh, if you have any big projects, call Ahmad. Medium-sized project, call David. Small projects, everyone can do. So who I am as an individual. But as we transform in the era of AI, everything can be some part automated, 40% eventually by 2030. So now we have to start to change the way we think first, using holistic thinking, work, focus on high business value and minimum risk, prioritize those, behave using agile mindset, and perform using high performance innovation culture. So this is where we have been able to not just individual execution capability, but the whole team, which we call capacity. The end game is actually we get paid not because we please the boss. We get paid because we have expert power. What we can do, competitors cannot do. What we can change within days, competitors take months to change. Adaptive power. Our communication is very clear. Those things we can do, we do. We tell you why we can do it. Those things you cannot do, we say, if you're still interested for us to be your turnkey project partners, these are the risks that we have to monitor and control. So therefore, together, not just yourself, but we talk about stakeholder value management. In front is the customers, behind are your contractors and your suppliers. So you together become resilient and you have the stamina power. So this is what we say, the innovation doesn't rest with a company, it is with a group of companies that want to move together at the same pace. This is the whole concept of what I present today. No? The purpose of my presentation is actually, we need to cultivate innovative talent, be it the project manager, be it, we can give another title, the general manager, but a company survives because it's all about implementation of projects, because projects are investment. So we have to construct the innovative culture in an organization using the house that I explained. Now, strategy is to achieve the purpose. So therefore, we need to unify management, leadership, and entrepreneurship so that the outcome is called synergy. This synergy is called entrepreneurship as the way we work. So it's the culture innovation. Now, strategy must be supported by people, process, and planet. So we have to have discipline in execution by the people, ability in execution by the process, and planet is the speed in execution by our technology. So the paradigm shift is we know there are 5 gaps, especially AI cannot solve this problem. AI can only highlight the problem. Human beings must solve the problem because implementation must be human beings. Although robot can do as well, but we don't want that to happen, then all of us become jobless, Now the project will be from the strategic level. So we have the strategic plan, to the business plan, to the operations plan. And Clayton Christensen said, the late Clayton Christensen, the disciple is called Anthony Scott, says you have efficiency innovation, sustaining innovation, transformative innovation. Each one, the risk is higher, but the results is much, much better. Now we are living in a world of value chain, from concept to making our customer happy. So this is where innovation is along the line. When I was tasked to look at the supply chain, paper says that KC is not in the plantation. He doesn't know anything about palm oil. But I told them I'm a process specialist. So the only thing that can lose money is called oil losses. Along the supply chain, every % of oil loss, the company lose money. The boss said it's correct. So why are we focusing on the wrong metrics? I said oil loss. If it's from 5% reduced to 1%, you know how much savings you make? 4% of times the per ton price of CPO yourself. So this is what I'm talking about. But we have to pull everybody together in the supply chain. The strategy is to define the purpose for change. Why? Because we can increase the capacity of the people, because innovation means change for improvements. Discipline, because we have a rich culture, and this culture is the way we work. And the innovation system is now using ISO 56000. So whether you operate in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, China, same ISO standard, you measure similar things. So from strategic, 10 years, total complete portfolio, program, and project, collaborative, who are our good partners, just like Apple used the 400 suppliers, they reduced to 40 because we easier to do with 40 key suppliers than 400. Open innovation, very important, have an open mind. Any country can come up with a good idea. If it fits into us, which is called strategic fit, why not? So this is the concept. I'm finishing already. We need to seal the 5 gaps: strategy gap, execution gap, growth gap, learning gap, innovation gap, that hinders execution capability. So over time, if you ask me, you look at there's another very good, my friend, Robin Speculant, who always talk about implementation. He actually highlighted that why until today, only less than 20% of strategy are successfully implemented by projects. Is it the PMP not enough? It's because people with the PMP is only one aspect, but there are so many other what we call gaps that needs to be bridged or sealed, SEAL. The competence is that this is what I always share with after I train the people, after attending my class, after attending your project management. So project management actually helps the learner to integrate better, implement faster, innovate smarter, but you must accept we are key change agents, because this is what leadership is about. Leader is the person, leadership is to influence people to change so that we can move at the same speed, and then we can improve continuously. Now, connections, the strategy can come up from HQ in USA or from Europe, Germany, then convert to projects in this part of the world. And then because it's in this part of the world, you have different nationalities working together, cultural diversity. But don't worry, we look at the process, we don't blame the people. So we actually develop and control the process. This is what our perform integrated change control always reminded us. And then now, the lessons learned is spread throughout the whole world. Or we can invite other people, other suppliers, contractors to work with us, because we have not enough skills yet to construct this type of projects. So the whole concept about commitment. All organizations must be committed to develop and cultivate innovative talent, and construct this innovative culture. This is the future, because including myself, why I love to go to share with Indonesia, because I realized that such concepts are readily acceptable. But implementation is tough, because I don't speak Bahasa. But I have many, many good friends who are educated in English, and nowadays Indonesia also more and more people speak English. So therefore, I think by sharing my ideas and put into reality, there's a good cooperation between, or collaboration between my organization, or I should say PMI Singapore with PMI Indonesia. So what is the learning cycle? First you see, then you think, then you plan, then you do, and ask what went right, what went wrong, improve. But the next one is very important. I learned something, but if I want to innovate, I must unlearn, and I look for new improvements again. So as a conclusion, must know, this slide is what you attended this session with me for. So you have everything there already. The house of holistic thinking for innovation management, which consists of the foundation, very important, remember, whether earthquake or monsoon, climate, or typhoon, the foundation holds the building together. So therefore, the thinking skills is the most important. And now you have to look at your strategy innovation, your total innovation, you have your collaborative innovation and open innovation. And there's a standard now, so everybody can compare apple to apple, our ability to integrate, implement, and influence people to innovate and improve continuously. Now, we need expert power because people pay you for your expertise. People don't pay you because you have a qualification from Harvard or Stanford. That is the passport to enter a job, but people pay organization for their expertise. And you adapt. In the past, we use less AI, but now we use, I think I attended the conference in Mala, somebody says that almost 40% AI is implemented in the company. So we need to adapt to that. People can operate from home. Communications power, yes, very important. We keep everyone informed. Transparency is the name of the game. And we will be able to resist the best and the worst scenario or crisis. So resilient power. Now, a company, we have to keep reminding. In fact, when I do consulting work, I remind all my customers, don't expect results overnight. Not I'm running away from problem, but your company is still in the middle stage of transition. You cannot just do digital business transformation within 3 years. It took DBS Bank a long time and they spent $2 billion, DBS Bank. Many people have to be trained. So therefore, this is the reality. The first step is use projects to teach us how to manage better, which is management, how to build a pipeline of key change agents, which is leadership, and how to build up the spirit of an entrepreneur, not my company, but I treat as mine. So when these three are fully integrated and work in tandem, then we are starting our journey in entrepreneurship. And the last part is strategy. So if everyone play a role to see how they can contribute to the strategy, this is called strategipreneurship, which is the latest. So to sum up, I hope, and this is where I was given this platform to actually share with you. My book is already out in English version. In fact, it's selling very well. I launched it 1 month ago. I think before the new year. I already sold 1,000 copies. And this is purchased by like this Sampona bought 10 copies and some other universities. In Singapore, it's 39 Sing dollars. The holistic thinking is in color. And there are 100 diagrams. So the one translated into Chinese is, of course, sold in China. So you can imagine in China, the printing cost is very cheap, but it's black and white. It's $10. $10 you can buy the same book, but it's in Chinese. Bahasa, I have actually made a proposal to PMI Indonesia. There's during one of my Zoom call with your board members, leaders, and they said, yeah, let us consider. And I said, my job is not to earn money from the books. My job is to share. So if this is translated into Bahasa and part of PMI, of course, you can have people to sponsor it. So it could be very cheap. And therefore, for me, I'm willing to just support this good initiative. And also, I'm willing to train those people who believe in holistic thinking. Petra, I've been training them for the last 22 years. So I think I don't want to repeat it to the new city anymore. I would like to actually use it for the industry, like what Professor Echo always tell me, you are better off because of your experience to share in the industry, especially among the project managers. So whether this will materialize into a project that I can work up with PMI Indonesia, I'm open to any suggestion. So now I think I'm ready for any Q&A. So I'll stop sharing. Okay, good.
Okay, thank you, Professor. It is it is a good I think it's a good insight for us to know how to innovate, to use the whole thinking scenario to understand how we can see the people, the talents, the innovative
Yeah.
talents that we have, and to have the culture of the innovation be applied in our organization. So, guys, we have learned the concept of the WTM, and we also know that there are steps that we need to do to ensure
Mm,
that the culture is implement in our
yes.
organization, and we know how to we know how to see the outcome about how we must know, how we should know, and the strategy that we will have to applied so that the culture of innovation be
Mm,
thriving in our organization. So, Professor, we have several questions now, and
sure.
I will going to read it from the very first one. It is from Pak Bayu Anggoro. He asked, how is the structure of innovation team should look like? Should it become an independent department reporting to senior management, or it can be embedded to particular function?
Okay, so if you what I propose, I mean, from my own experience, could be not 100% correct, but it is practical. Is that look at Steve Jobs. If you don't have the number one, for example, last time I report directly to the Vijaya family because you don't report to them. You have many C-suite people. I'm only one of the C-suite. I have 11 people against me. They will tell me no time.
Yeah.
But if you have the support of the number one, it's very different. He called the meeting, all come. I called the meeting, half will come. So if initially, yes, you must have a separate projectized structure
Okay.
which report directly to the
To the
CEO.
CEO.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what is important is what makes up of this team. So you cannot say is that I limited to 5 people. I limited to 4 teams. So first thing first is the same as we learn in change management. Those people who are willing,
Right.
because these are the fighters, these are the achievers. They say it's okay, but I may be junior, but I'm willing to support this initiative. So first give the chance for people to come out, then now you train them so that you become homogeneous in your thinking process. So there are tools. Normally I have 10 tools. That's why I say it's not just a concept. It's actually the tools to make sure they meet a certain standard of solving complex problems. Not is one solution, it can be different solutions. Then now we move together. Each time we don't blame, oh, you make a mistake. We say that we overlook, but this time we do differently. So each time you sharpen the saw, you become sharper and sharper. So certain problems you now can amplify to everybody in the organization. So you don't need to repeat the same mistakes by another department. I think you get what I mean, right? So therefore,
Yep.
lessons learned become in project management we call organizational process assets. So
Yes.
everybody have access to it. Yeah.
So
So I hope
basically,
I answered
yeah,
the
so
question.
from what I understand that the team is a must, but you still need to have the, I think what it's called, buy-in from the CEO, right?
Yes, yes,
So
the seal
that's
must be there.
right, so that he can be the main driver for the
Yeah,
innovation
but
to
you may
come.
not spend all the time, but at least
Yeah,
in my own experience, they will spend about 2, 3 hours per week.
yeah,
But his early hour in the morning is 7 o'clock.
yeah,
So he says that you cannot solve the problem. Saturday we have the meeting. They say, "But sorry, Saturday family time. Please don't. We will
please,
cooperate with
please don't call
KC
me on the
Chan."
weekend.
Yeah, I go Puncak already. Please don't.
Yeah,
So
all right,
if the boss is not there, I cannot talk like that. They say, "Who are you?"
yeah,
You go back Singapore and join your family for weekends. Don't come and disturb us. You know.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, okay, Professor, I will go to the second
Good
questions.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's from Pak Hadi Priyono.
Yeah.
Yes, innovation may involve new technologies or new ways in doing
Mm.
things. However, some argue that too many new things in the project may put the project success at risk. What do you think about risk based on your experience, and what could we do to mitigate the concern?
Very good question. In actual fact, yesterday I was myself, I'm also certified as a risk manager now. Because why? You have
Mhm.
strategic risk, you have business risk, and you have operational risk. But there are more than that. I'm writing a book called Eight Types of Risk. Right? External risk, of course, is market risk, financial risk, etc. But let's
Yes.
go back to what I'm talking about. The important thing is that everybody overlook project risks because
Yeah.
inside the risk manual, there is not there, even though in PMI, we study ISO 31,000, right? But
Yes.
because of ESG, so I have to attend a course. And I just realized I know very little, no, about risk in ESG. But all projects related to ESG, because now you know they have a ranking, they have a grade.
Yes. They've been
So
graded. Yeah.
yeah, everything you buy product you can see. So therefore, when I actually attended the risk management ISO 31,000 to different type of risk, I realized that I know very little. So to cut those
Mhm.
story short, so I spoken to the chairman of in Singapore we call REMAS.
Yeah.
Actually, it not only represents Singapore, it represents the region, and they decided to accept my proposal. It's called Strategic Enterprise Risk Innovation Management. So from strategic level, which is portfolio, to
Mhm.
business
Mhm.
level, which is programs, to
Yep.
project level. So now I will be the one of the few that come up with the proposed standard and solution. It's not going to be ISO standard, but it will become the institution standard because now I have to submit all these documents to the government to take a look. Because then when it is approved, it can be taught in the public. And I'm willing to share actually in Indonesia because it took a long time. I found a guru, which is my very good friend. I lost him for 20 years and is
Mhm.
actually one of the experts. So I said, oh my God, now it's very easy to talk to you because he has been doing this in the government for the last 25 years. Yeah, so that's
So, so,
the risk is very important. It has because from the minute you start, I don't know whether you know Antonio,
yeah.
the
Antonio
project
Rodriguez. Yeah.
management guru. So from the starting of the project, the risk is the highest because stakeholders may kill it until
Mhm.
its end. Now the other type of risk come up, which is dollar value, the
Yeah.
impact.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yes, this has to be taken into consideration. Last time again, no structure, up to you. But now there's structure because the innovation. If I actually show you, this is the framework that I'm talking about. So risk is one part of the very important component, and also leadership is the other component. So two very important components that cut across the ISO 9000, 14,000, 18,000, 31,000, and the 36,000 is leadership and risk, because this is a common for all. Yeah, I hope I answered the question.
So I think we need for our particular innovative project, we need to see the risk,
Yeah,
and then act accordingly, and then possibly endless
but
things we
the
can
risk is
have.
associated with the stakeholder.
Yes.
Who
So
can kill the project is only the stakeholder can kill.
stakeholders. Yeah. So
No,
so
the
that's why you
technology
address.
cannot kill the project.
So that's why you
Yeah,
address from the portfolio level, right?
yeah,
You go
yeah.
from the portfolio and go to
Exactly,
the
exactly.
program.
Yeah,
So that's how we mitigate the innovative. We start from
exactly,
the
exactly.
portfolio. All right.
Very good.
Without further ado, I will go to the next one. It's
Yes.
from Roderick. From expertise and learn from our trainings from PMI, innovation is really important for the company. The big problem is the client is still primitive in a way on reporting. Saving costs is important also on the project, but the client is still asking for printed PowerPoints, and it is worth 900,000 rupiah per week. How can we handle this for escalation, sir? And how to share this knowledge to them? In what way, sir? Please help, sir. So I think it is the question about clients that wouldn't want
Mm.
to innovate their
Yeah. Jokingly,
process.
can I charge consulting fee?
Yes, it is. It is a really
Okay, let me
consultative
just share with you.
questions here.
You know what it's called? Bit size, like BIT, not bite size. Bit size is like we want to have good digestion, we
Yeah,
eat slowly, right?
it's small
So
one.
innovation you cannot force. So I always tell people, in the real world, what is KPI? The top management forced the guy, this is your KPI. The guy said, cannot park, It's impossible. I already worked very hard over time. Again, now you ask me Sunday also work. So what is important is iterative. This is agile, right? Iterative. So
Yeah.
in actual fact, every morning you do the sprint is already innovation.
Oh,
Why
okay.
yesterday we did not finish the work? So now everybody is stressed. You don't want to solve the problem. You only
Yeah.
answer the question. This is undone work, but you want to build the teamwork, right?
Yep.
So change is actually innovation. So, but last time people don't look at it this way. Remember my definition? Doing something different that has business impact. There's another definition because I'm attending all these courses. Singapore, everything has to be certified. I cannot say I know innovation. They say, show me the certificate. So it's the creation and capture. So this is the answer for him. Anything you create, that's the lessons learned. It can be daily basis. This guy tell you, hey, you did the wrong thing yesterday because you overlooked. And that's part of assumptions equal to risk because we like to make assumptions. So creation and capture of new value. This value must be, learning is to transform from an old behavior to a new behavior. So that is where you start to change by bit size, bit, not bite, not even bite, small little bit.
Yeah.
And in new ways. But this must be measurable. So in project management, always talk about smart, right? If not measurable, how can I understand, is this a good or not so good solution? So, but one thing people doesn't like is to be measured.
All right.
Every morning I have to bathe, put on my weighing machine. I can tell my wife, yesterday I never take dinner. I say, hey, your weight still the same. Sorry, you must be, when I sleeping, you go out to the
To the
kitchen and eat
okay and
something. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
it's
so you encourage people to be transparent.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
innovation, you cannot create fear. That's why you have books written about safety psychology, especially in the Agile project management. I
Mhm.
try, still cannot. Somebody try, oh, can, because you must do it in slightly different way. So it's a mindset. So agile is very important in innovation.
Mhm.
If you have
Mhm.
no agile mindset, then your innovation is fixed already. It's the best way. There's no best way. There's always a better way. So to answer the question is that you must make everybody try without resistance.
Yeah, so I think it's relevant because by trying to be innovative, you challenge the current process, right? You want to
Yes,
implement
yes.
something new, and yes, agile is quite a good methodology, I would say. Start
Yeah.
with the bite-size changes, information,
Yes.
data, so
Yes.
that they know, oh, we can do this, we can do that, and bit by bit, it will change in a way that we want, right?
Yeah. So
So,
innovation actually is a change management strategy.
mhm, mhm.
Strategy
So
to
it's
help the
similar, right?
company. Yeah. But to change, you need to influence people. You don't change the whole technology. Nobody want to use
Yes.
it. Like, that's
Uh-huh.
the end. Nobody want to use. I never asked you to buy this equipment. I never asked you to automate the whole process, but you automate it, so I'm not booking.
Yeah. All right.
Next question.
So next questions. This is from Miss Rati. What are the most important metrics to measure successful implementation of holistic innovation strategy in corporate level?
So in my own concept of holistic thinking is your ability to execute, ability to execute. So, for example, you look at the pyramid, right? If I can only do lightweight projects, so I will count how many of my project managers can do lightweight projects, let's say up to $1 million. If I outsource all the lightweight, that means my people go to the level 2. They do medium weight project, but I have to train them. So once they do medium weight project, that means it's 10 million and above. So I don't need to increase my labor force. I can actually share the bonus with them. Instead getting 3 months, I give you 5-month bonuses. Then they are
Mhm.
happy.
Yeah.
Because otherwise my job threatened, no, with AI, you're going to replace me because AI will automate. Now, if they can do half by themselves for mid-sized project, the other half can train the contractors, then they become part of the family. We call this the extended family concept, which is very popular in Japan and Indonesia. We are part of my family because I trust you. You're trustworthy. You can do it. So I also train you, train your people. Then you go up to the turnkey projects. So when you measure turnkey projects, means that when the tender is out, I will be the first one be called in for the tender because of supreme execution capability, but you have to define what is called supreme execution capability. So this one, you have to look at your core competence. Core competence. That means, in other words, something that's unique, you do, other people cannot do. Just like the software, Infosys, Wipro, Tata, level 5. You enter, sorry, a lot of mistakes. So your maturity is not there, capability. So why do you think Indonesia attract so many electric car investment? Because the people have been making good cars. You look at the Toyota now or the Kia. It's very different, right? It's designed in Indonesia, made in Indonesia, nobody can say. But you look at the Prodong, they took a long time, but now Indonesia is already higher. Because this is what I mean by heavyweight projects. If I am the investors, I will go to Indonesia. Because you know how to do it, but I will share with you how to do it better because electric vehicle is slightly different. So that is how you measure, not by individual. Individual, no, this is not the way apple to apple. You look at the weight of the projects, and this is in the industry.
So I think the outcome is the main metrics, right? The outcome of the project.
So this is a reflection of how you manage, so management, how your people leadership, because you must have a pipeline of good leaders. Otherwise, it's not enough to share in the industry. And last but not least is people, although it's not my company, I'm an employee, but I behave like it's my company because I have ownership. So of course, at the end of the day, the company will still give you shares. And this is the American or the European system that, yes, you are my partners, not just partnership. So I treat you like shareholders. So
like a family, like you said before, right?
So it's all the concept of like the kampong family, kampong king.
Kampung family, yeah. It is really thick over here. All right, Professor, we have finished with the questions, so I think the time is also correct, and probably we will wrap up this session, and we will have photo session now. So everybody, please turn on your cameras so we can have a snapshot of you guys be how do you call it? The memento from this session. All right. Can I have a help? Masrai, please give the cue.
Okay, everyone. Wait.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank you. Wait. Okay, thank you, Professor Chan.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Another.
Terima kasih, Professor.
Hope to see you soon.
Hope to see you again. So
See
guys, we will
you in
wrap up.
Cymex.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Tan and PMMI. See you again.
See you again.
Thank you, everyone. See you in next prank.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Ready to leave.
Thank you.
I will close the room, everyone. Thank you. See you in the next break. Bye-bye. Have a good night.